in this case for Taekwondo is TKO, total knockout.
Okay.
So he studies the opponent and he tells you, okay, the weakest part of the body of Taekwondo, allowable, legal, is here. So the back of here, this part here, the ear. So he trains you, instead of just getting points or to win, is knockout. So he aims at this zone here. Although it's padded, but he trains you that 70% of the time he trains you, and all you do is, if you just have that one chance, and then bang. So I realized, wow. So that question was, did I or do people that are followers, do they actually learn from the right masters?
Hello everyone, welcome to the Achievers Show. Our goal at the show is to bring to you some of Malaysia's top world achievers so that you will be able to learn from their mindset and also strategies for you to be successful in your life. So in today's episode, we have a really special guest. Now this guest, he has run 78 businesses, including 5 multi-million-dollar businesses before 40 years old. And to date, he has managed to close more than 90 deals globally, and his biggest deal was $600 million. He holds directorship in 23 companies in 3 countries across 13 industries. He consulted and advised over 10 leading corporations and SMEs, and he is the author of 2 books and a renowned conference speaker. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dato James Foo. Hello, Dato. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
Now, Dato, why not start by introducing yourself to our audience over here?
Well, what would you like me to start? I mean, there's so much to tell.
Okay, so what do you do basically right now?
So right now, what we actually do is 2001 actually. So 2001, we actually formed a company, and that company was actually called Snappers Publishing.
Right.
It's a publishing house. How it was born is actually born from the fact that it was a bucket list. I want to do my book, and I said like, okay, why not just publish my own story and then just done tick. And what happened was, after a year later, nobody wanted to publish my book.
Right.
And I said, cannot be right, cannot be so hard, And what happened was, we went around town asking a lot of big names around town and asking, can you publish my book? And they were asking a lot of weird questions like, what is this for? Who's your market? How do you market it? And those were very new questions to me.
Yeah.
And what we took and said, okay, this shouldn't be too hard, and got so fed up with all the amount of red tape, I actually formed the new company. And that's how the company Snappers was born actually.
Right.
So fast forward, that's like 2019 right now, about 18 years. Good. And what we actually help authors brand their message globally in about 150 countries, 30,000 platforms.
Nice.
So we actually help them write the book, edit, publish, and we actually promote it for them.
Right. Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay. So you have started more than 80 companies. And I'd just like to start with your first company. What business was that?
Wow. Okay. So the first real business that I actually started by myself was actually, I wanted to think what was a better way to earn some side income.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought what better way to do is by doing trading.
Yeah.
So at that time was try to sell something at a higher price when you buy it at a cheaper cost. So we actually did it then. And going around looking for a lot of things, I thought, what would people want to buy but pay a high price?
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to live a better life. And so what happened was, I just saw a particular device in one of my father's friend's office. Right? And that device was very unique. That device was actually what we called a air water generator.
Okay.
So what happens is like those water vending machines with no water pipe.
Yeah.
So it only generates water from electricity.
Right.
A similar concept of how they actually used to actually help the Iraq soldiers get water to drink in the desert.
Right.
So there's a giant machine that actually helps generate those moisture and converts it into water.
Yeah.
So that machine was the one that I saw, and I was like amazed, how could you actually get water out of that machine? And I was thinking, okay lah, but how much could we sell it? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the machine was about more than 3001.
Okay.
Right? The cost was about 1,000 give or take.
Yeah.
So I said, if you could sell probably a dozen of it would be not bad, right? For 21-year-old, pretty cool, right? And that's how we started actually. So that was the first business we actually technically got friends, families, and so-called so-called followers, or
Yeah.
if you believe, actually got us to give us the first seed fund, right? And that was about a year and a half. We sold about close to 1 container, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
the first business was also the biggest reality of life, where we actually bought a very high-tech equipment, but we realized at the end of that period that machine started breaking down,
Okay.
and there was no professional expert to fix it.
Yeah.
And we also went back to the manufacturer, and they said they had no clue as well. So long story short, we actually had to refund a lot of the money that we actually got the machines from. So yeah, that was basically my first experience of doing business.
And at the age of 21.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of all the 78 businesses that you have managed so far, how did you multiply your success? What are some of the strategies that you used to grow your business? Like 80 businesses before the age of 40 is a lot. So how did you do that?
I don't think it's a lot. I mean, there are many people who have done much more than that.
Okay.
How I did it was the fact that it just started with 1,
Yep.
and then how do you multiply 2, 4, 6, 8, literally from that context. But I think growing up, we came from very humble beginnings, and I noticed that my dad actually had a little concept where they call it co-working space right now.
Yep.
So we run a small construction company, right? And what happens is, I noticed that he was actually taking on engineers, we call contractors, or other people, and under his arms,
Yep.
but housing him in one floor,
Yep.
right? And we actually take different levels of jobs. So example, if our company will take $1 million job, another company, our engineer will take a $500,000 job, right? And 100,000 and thereafter. So that's how I saw how the so-called co-working concept started. But I also saw how he actually nurtured those engineers, those businesses, and I said, like, how cool is that if I could do something similar, right? And at that time, I realized that construction was a very challenging business. You need to actually get your hands dirty. You need to I mean, there are a lot of other, we call tricks of the trade, but also things you need to learn. And you don't actually study it in college or in universities, right? And I realized that, okay, maybe you need to find something that is more suitable for my character, right? And I said, okay. And after the first business, people said, wow, you can make money like this. Can you help me with my next one? And we had no experience, and I go like, of course, we become a little overconfident, right? And I go like, yes. So the second business literally was off the cuff with this new technology. Probably you've seen it, I'm not sure. In shopping malls, there's this device where you put both your feet in this like a foot spa.
Ah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that foot spa actually changes color after about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then what happens is the lady or the guy will come and give you a paper and say, sir, your kidney no good because of the color of the water. And we were doing about almost 1,000 a day, ringgit a day, right? And weekends we were doing double. So we had 4 outlets, and we were actually just duplicating that. So I think that gave us some seed funds to grow our second and third. And after people said, hey, it looks like you know how to do this thing better than me, and can you teach me how to make some side income? And that was all in my mind, to make pocket money actually, to how to take care, how to contribute back to my house and to my family, and not depend too much on my dad. And I said, okay, why not? And that's how it literally started. 1, 2, 4, and of course, when I hit the 80th mark, 78 mark, literally things were falling apart. Literally falling apart. Why were they falling apart? Lack of systems, structures, strategies, proper concepts, proper fundamentals. And I just want to hope and share with some of your your followers and yourself, and hopefully if I may, and so that people don't have to go past that route again. So but that's basically, I hope it was a long way to answer your question, but that's one on our answers.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges that you face along the way that it impacts you a lot?
Oh my. So if I could sum it up, the biggest epiphany for me was the fact that when we partner with someone, or when I partner with someone, I always look at the fact that, are they rich? So if they are rich, they have lots of we call investments, or they've done a lot of successful business, I thought like, yes, that would be a good partner, first criteria, And then the second criteria I look for is he or she well connected? Wow. So if I speak to you and you have at least 200-300 people behind you, I said, wow, you're well connected. So that's my second criteria, well connected. The third one was, is this particular individual very skillful in one particular art or a skill? They're very expert in something. And that was the third criteria I saw. The second criteria I saw was, are they very skillful in one particular item? That means they're very familiar in not just skill, but they can use a particular tool better than other people.
Yeah.
Right? And the last part, which I tend to ignore or thought was not important, neglect, was the fact of the person's attitude,
Okay.
the character. And I actually had this for the last many years upside down. I actually, first criteria, is he rich or is she rich? Is he well connected, and stuff like that. And later on, I found out that the most important fact was, if I swap it the way around, number one criteria would be, what is the attitude? What's the character like? And if I get that right, the rest of the thing gets easier. So my mission would be now is to, when I advise companies, when I actually mentor them, I always say, let's fix the first 15%. So it's not what I came up with. This Dr. Edward Deming.
Yeah.
So he actually helped make Toyota to be where it is today. He came with a lot of processes and systems, and he said if you fix the first 15%, 85% of your whatever business direction gets solved.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a six-pack, we don't just jump in and do all the things, right? We just need to start with the mindset and diet and so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So out of 80 businesses, right, do you have 5 businesses that is the most successful businesses? And what do you think you have done right in these 5 businesses to make this business so successful?
Okay. So definition of success is very debatable.
Yeah. So what is your definition of success?
Now the definition of success is very different from where it was.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I think we need to pick a goal.
Okay.
Right. A lot of people pick a goal, like example for Olympian. They pick, I want to be the world number 1. Right. Example in either in swimming or in badminton, they want to be world number 1. And I always tell them this: they can only be one. Right.
Yeah.
So the competition is immense. Why would you want to play a game like that? So maybe not my character, not my style. And I rather play like, how can I be maybe top 10? Can I be top 10 in the world? Potentially.
Yeah.
If I may not be top 10 in the world, how about I'm top 10 regionally or at least locally?
Yeah.
So I came from that context.
Yeah.
Can I be top 10 in something? Right. So from that, I just started going back and say, okay, certain companies had certain traits, but what really stayed on were only 3 things. Number 1 were the people.
Okay.
Right? Even though you have terrible systems, you have terrible structures, but you have the right people with the right attitude.
Yep.
I think that actually went past a lot of hurdles in life. I mean, systems are dead, structures are dead, strategies are all dead, right?
Yeah.
Humans are the one that they really believe in your vision. They believe in what you do. They will really stick it out through you, regardless whether the economy is good or bad, or some other companies pay much higher price. And I think number 1 was actually the people.
Okay.
Right. And so what I said, I also heard this in one of the global forums where they interviewed Jack Ma, and they asked him, lots of questions. What is one thing? And he goes like, it's not fair to say one thing, right? But he said, if you must insist I do one thing. He said, I would invest in people.
Okay.
And I went and did more research, and I found out that Lei Ka-shing, so a billionaire from Hong Kong, and they asked him the question. He said, if I were asked you 100 times, where will you invest all your money if you could go back in time? And they said, if you ask me that one question only, I'll put all my money on people. That's my first criteria. All my money on people, right? And so with people, then I realized the next part of it would be, right now, currently, the phase would be, what are the platforms are you building? Like, this is a very powerful platform, but what platform are you building for your company, for your society? And that platform is the second layer.
It's like a marketing channel, is it?
Like a marketing channel, but a platform has many purposes.
Okay.
Right. The most powerful era right now will be a platform era. Like Facebook, they don't own anybody. Airbnb don't own any properties, and Uber don't own any cars. But there is a platform a technological element, but that's a platform.
Yeah.
So the second bit will be, first is people, second is platform. The third part is, I think a lot of people avoid it, or at least neglect it for now, is I feel that they do not concentrate on profits. They say like, no, it's okay, like let's get a lot of investors, let's get a lot of fundraising, it's okay, we don't make money. But a lot of big companies right now, as we know, really big ones, don't make profits. And I mean, for me personally, that's not really my cup of tea.
Okay.
Right.
So people, platform, profits.
Yeah.
3P.
That's my 3. Okay, nice one. I didn't think it was, but yes.
Okay, so talking about people, like how do you find the right criteria in people in order for you to work with? What are some of the traits that you look at in people?
So now it's very different. Last time was as long as you look good, we can click. You're my friend, and let's work together. That's pretty much how it was run. If I like you, we work together. But moving forward, I realized that was not effective. It was probably an efficient way at that time, but it's not effective. And I realized that I studied. So there are actually like 6 levels. 6 levels that I came up with. Not from me personally, but I studied from a lot of people. So level 1 was actually when you actually mix with people. Do they have what we call a pigeon mentality?
Pigeon mentality. What's a pigeon mentality?
Well, a pigeon mentality, if you see what a pigeon just goes, ooh, when they coo a sound, right?
Yeah.
But what happens if you throw rice or bread? What happens to the pigeon?
They go and eat it?
Yeah, that's basically. So that means they are very easily distracted with whatever is out there. So whatever I throw, there's grains or whatnot, they just get attracted and they get distracted from the actual focus. So pigeon people, right? The next level are actually crows. Right? The crow type of belief will be people who actually are very opportunistic. So they come to you and say like, what's in it for me? If I can make money, if there's some sort of benefit, there's some win-win, I will probably consider this collaboration. So that's a crow mentality. Right, and last time I couldn't tell the difference. Everybody was my friend, right? And you really know who your true friends are when you're down. When you make lots of money, I tell you, everybody's your friend. And when you make no money, I think literally, I tell you, you pick a phone call, almost 9 out of 10 won't pick up your call, and you wonder why. So I digress. So the third level is actually called a eagle mindset or eagle mentality. And eagle has actually 3 criteria when I actually see a person with eagle. So it can be a senior person or can be a young person. So a young person, we can call them eagles or maybe eaglets. So but they must go under 3 criteria. Number 1, they must believe that they can fly high. They can fly high. That's number 2, they can actually have very good vision. They see far. That means they're very, wouldn't say, they have would say a gut feeling to see that I think this would be a better thing to do in the next probably 1 to 2 or maybe 3 years. So they have that. And the last piece, they actually truly believe inside that they are 1 and 2. That means they see far and they fly high. Unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays are eagles, but they do not believe.
Yeah.
Right, they are eagles. So that's the basic level of what do you call it? When we see people, but these are not people I partner.
Yeah.
These are not people I partner, but these are people I want to learn or maybe wish to avoid or wish to spend more time with. But what's the next level of the 3 will be more interesting. I realized that through so my son just got my son is like 11 right now, 12, just turned 12, and he is what we call a black belt. And he can't get his black belt yet because he's not 16, if I'm not mistaken. So he's called a pum belt of sorts. But he needs to stay in there until 16 to get his full black belt. But at the rate he's going, I think he got 2 done already if he completes it by 16. And I was just going through the different so-called masters at that time. He had different masters. And I said, wow, this master, and all had 3. And what I came up with after reading and also finding out, there were actually 3 kinds of masters. So maybe you can try. So master number 1, revered, has a lot of reviews, everything is the greatest, and everything is good, and all parents send their kids there, you know. And this master is famous for points. Points. So in Taekwondo, there's a point system. If you hit the body, I think it's 1 point, or you tap, face another point. If you jumping kick, it's 3 points, something like that. So he's very, very good in points. He's like the point man, no? So he said, if you come to me, your son learns from me, I will guarantee he wins. The best possible way is to play by points. And I said, okay, interesting. So for many years he learned, when we actually changed a different master, because we actually moved our house, this master was a bit different. And it was not just a point, this master was more on, what would you think? What's the second thing? Different type of masters. So they're all black belt, like 7 or 8 dan masters, right?
Yeah.
But there are 3 types that I want to highlight here today. So number 1, he goes on points.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, the second one, he goes on.
Progress.
Well, he goes on win.
Win.
Okay. So
Okay.
just forget about these points. 1, 2, 3, right? So example, the head is 3 points.
Yeah.
So I train you now. Okay. I train you 70% of the time.
Aim for the head.
Aim for the head. Don't waste time. Why 1 point, 2 point? Don't waste your time. One time, hit your head, 3 points.
Yeah.
And the opponent falls.
Falls down.
Right. So isn't that a good master?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sort of, right?
Yeah.
So I thought pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty good. So I said, but it's better than probably the first
Yeah.
one. And he had all the accolades. The people were standing there as well. And I go like, hey, powerful. But the latest one that we learned from, this guy is the national champion coach, but his center is a bit run down, and the places he chooses is a bit unorthodox.
Yeah.
But he teaches the students how to win. To win.
Okay.
Okay. And that means in this case for Taekwondo is TKO.
Mm-hmm.
Total knockout.
Okay.
So he studies the opponent and he tells you, okay, the weakest part of the body of Taekwondo, allowable, legal, is here. So the back of here, this part here,
Yeah.
the ear. So he trains you, instead of just getting points or to win, is knockout. So he aims at this zone here.
Yeah.
Although it's padded, but he trains you that 70% of the time he trains you, and all you do is if you just have that one chance, and then bang. So I realized, wow. So that question was, did I or do people that are followers, do they actually learn from the right masters? Because there are so many people out there teaching a lot of things. Rarely you actually learn from the the highest level of masters. So we learn from here and there, and because we learn from here and there, pick up from other materials and stuff, and we hear and read a bit, we become very mediocre players because we don't learn from the best.
Yeah.
So I realized that was really my epiphany. So those were in terms of people. Now,
Okay.
are you partnering, not just the types of people mentality, what type of masters are you partnering for your business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you always want to look for the top partners, right?
So some people call top 1%, some people call those the A+,
Yeah.
but at least people at their game.
Okay.
People at their A game, and you want to be part of them, right?
So how do you think you can look for this type of people? How do you think you can attract these type of people to come to you?
Wow. So good question, but this is what you do. When I actually saw you in the Achiever show, what you did was you actually, wherever you are, you do your best and you give massive value.
Okay.
Right? Like a
Yeah.
platform like this, actually you're giving value for people like us to actually share and give back. And the reason why I want to come and share is the fact that I feel that in the market right now, a lot of people are giving a lot of information, but the information is a bit, I wouldn't say efficient or effective. It works, but it doesn't give you the real results. And after I've been invited to share, the more I share, the more questions that come out, and I'm like confused. Where are they learning all these things from? And they tell me this so-called coach, this mentor, this guru, and I go like, I say, okay, but whatever it is, whoever you learn from, I only ask you one question, and I said, right now, look at your bank account.
Okay.
Open a bank account, your bank book or a statement. Open it. My time is a bank book, so it's a statement, and yours is a computer.
Yeah.
And if that light, actually glows in your eye, and you must wear sunglasses, literally like that's the amount of money you feel that's
Yeah.
then don't listen to me even.
Okay.
But if you open a bank account and you look at it, and you go like, I wonder how am I going to pay my bills for next month. Then whoever you've listened to so far,
It's not working.
right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's simple. Right? If it worked, right, you would have made the money.
Yeah.
So something doesn't gel, and I realized that, oh my God, people have actually paid not just thousands. They have paid. I've seen people pay hundreds of thousands, and I have friends who have actually paid close to $1 million.
Wow. To learn from.
To learn.
Okay.
And 5 years, 10 years, and I realized that they are almost back to square one. They are no different where they are. They're better dressed maybe, you know, but their bank account doesn't lie. At the end of the day, it doesn't lie. So I said, just look at the bank account.
What do you think the problem is? Like, is it on the person who learned it, like he did not apply it, or do you think it's the master's fault?
Well, I would say it's both.
Okay.
It's both. But for instance, if I want to get a six-pack, I could get the best master in town. If I don't follow, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
So assuming I did follow, like really follow to the word, and I don't get the results, when do you want to separate or break? Now that's the question that most people don't ask, because, excuse me, I've been in this community, this platform for a long period of time. Now if I don't mix with them, I tend to lose the circle of friends, right? And I realize that a lot of people want to feel a sense of belonging, to be branded to I'm in this platform, I'm with this guru, you know, and he's my mentor. Living a life that's not really truly they are fulfilled. You know, they're still meeting ends meet, they're still struggling day after day, and it really hurts me when they call me privately and go, hey, can I have a conversation with you? I go like, yeah, sure, what's up? And blah, blah, blah. I said, you paid a mentor 4 figures monthly for the last 1 year, right? What's happening? Well, he advised me this. I said, yeah. So how do you go? They're running through a checklist. You know, like there are 20 things, I must follow 20 things.
Yeah.
So I said, by the time you reach item number 15, you have burned out all your money already. So this is not called you know, you're not really qualified to a certain extent. I don't say I'm fully qualified to coach you, but I think my first criteria is, if you want to listen to someone, the person must be been there, done that. For me to listen to you, at least 60 to 70% to take your advice seriously. Been there, done that, still doing it.
Okay.
That's my criteria. So if I get advice from you and I really take it seriously to write down and compare and do research on that, been there, done that, still doing it. That means he's currently still doing what he's doing.
Yep.
Right? If he's been there and done that, I always take 40 to 50%. So whatever he says, I go like discount. But no matter how powerful, how rich, how many Bentleys, how 4-story, 5-story houses they have, I go like control. Because why? The market has changed. And I didn't say this. TED Talks have mentioned it. Harvard Business Review has said it. That we cannot predict the next 400 days.
Okay. Yeah.
We can't predict. No company, no country can predict.
Yep.
And because of that volatility, it is more important right now to find the right type of people that you want to work with.
Yeah.
Because you want to work with at least the people that, at least if they may not be the best of the best, but at least they have the right attitude.
Yeah.
At least you know they go far. So at least if I don't mind surrounding myself with all the eaglets, I'm fine. But I know 5 years, 10 years from now, I'll be happy off. So the question I want to ask is, you're rich today, but can you guarantee 5 to 10 years from now, you'll be richer? Or if you're poor today, knowing what you know now, can you be 5 to 10 years later, can you be more successful or richer in that sense?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in a business context, just now you mentioned the third P is about a lot of companies, the mistakes they make is they can't make profit. So what do you think is the problem there? What are people focusing on in the companies that they can't make the profit?
Wow, that's a big question. Probably get a lot of people riled up here. But people are celebrating the fact of fundraising. Wow, this company X raised X amount of money. This company B raised this much money. We are celebrating that, which I totally don't agree.
Yeah.
Why? Because that is actually not real money.
Yeah.
That is actually borrowed money. So you're actually borrowing your money to maintain this company. So you should not be celebrating. We should be celebrating companies who actually bootstrap. Like how many years have you bootstrapped? How many years have you bootstrapped? How many years have you bootstrapped? We don't hear anything like that. We only hear is how many companies, oh, you raised 10, you raised 500,000, you raised 1 million. I mean, raising is important. I just went to a event. They just launched a new co-working space in KL.
Okay.
And they were telling me they're very proud, this startup asking me advice, they said, you look like you're very dressed up. Are you a VC? I said, no. Are you an investor? I said, sometimes, And he said, you're very proud, very happy. And I said, oh, tell me a bit more. And he said, oh, I actually got invested. I said, oh, good for you. And he said, 200,000 US for 20% of the company. And my jaw dropped. Because if you're familiar with venture capitalists and the investment scene, that is called daylight robbery. You never give away double digit of your company regardless. You know, you probably give 8-9%. You don't give 20% of a company away because he had 200,000 US.
I think a lot of people, they focus on the short term, the money, instead of the long term. How does the company grow, right?
Exactly. We always are very overconfident of the things we can do in very short period, right? And very underconfident of what are the things you can do in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? So, but yeah, you know, coming from that space, you know, I realized that a lot of people do not know today, until today, with all, no matter how savvy we are, how much Google can provide, how much information there's at our fingertips, people are to a certain extent still being very naive or gullible to certain things. You know, I understand it's still a willing seller, willing buyer.
Yeah.
But if you make the money now, you will not see the end result. You know, very rarely you can reach the end game where you start.
Yeah.
And that the 15% is where I focus on. And I want to tell people that, you know, focus on the 15%, and the rest you can, you know, figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
But now we listen to a lot of people who have not been there, done that, and I ask the question now: have you done it? Even for real estate agents who ask me to buy properties, and I said, have you bought it? Oh, I cannot afford. I'm like, okay, have you bought any property, right? It may not be this one, but have you bought anyone? No, actually no money, sir. And then I would not invest with that particular real estate agent because you do not know my pains and challenges and my frustrations, right? And even it's almost like nothing wrong with the industry. I think it's a very powerful industry, network marketing, right? And I realized was, this new latest product, I think you buy, very good for you. Young man, good for you. But me, I don't need. And I go like, what do you mean? No, you need. You ask your friends to find your friends. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But it's the way the people run it. Yeah. Right? And that's why I start with the people first. And then we look at the right platforms. And then do you make profits?
Okay.
So that's why I come from that context.
Okay. So out of the 80 companies that you started, is there one success that you are the most proud of?
I think I'm more proud of my kids, my wife, and stuff like that. But if a company success...
but what about like a business context, Is there one moment that you are the most proud of because of what you have achieved?
So if you just want to say I touched it, right? So I think number one would be how we actually build a... so we took over a company, a Scandinavian company, right? And that same company actually had a building technology, right? And they were just an inventor, not a marketer. So they had a very good technology, but he didn't know how to market it. And we wanted to get a better head of the Malaysian construction scene in Malaysia. And what happens, we actually JV with the company. And what happens, we took the technology back to Malaysia, right? And Mahathir at that time wanted to build Putrajaya. So Putrajaya was actually bare, right? And one of the first few buildings was the Putrajaya Convention, PICC. So that was I think normally the first few buildings there. And he said, we want to build it, we want to have a lot of conventions there, invite a lot of people, delegates from around the world, and make Malaysia, truly Asia. And I said, okay, sure. And what happens, they said, okay, but we need to do it in under 2 years. So at that time, with the new contractors, new systems, it was almost virtually impossible to do it in 2 years. Right, and so we actually when we bought over the company, and we did like a JV, and we said, okay, can we do it under 2 years? After calculations, and went through a lot of research, we realized we could do it under 9 months. So we actually built the PACC under 9 months, right? And from that, opportunities came about. We started building the army camps. So Malaysia has army camps, right? And we started building, I think about three or five army camps using that technology. Right. So that was a springboard. So 1, 2, and I wouldn't say a third break, but the break that actually I think highest among all was the fact that because we were doing that, a Dubai company said, I want to buy your company, right? I think, not mistaken, we invested close to about I think about 12 to 13 million ringgit, right? And this Dubai company wanted to pay us in USD the same amount. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's
Yeah.
say 10 million ringgit, and a Dubai company wants to pay us in USD
Yeah.
10 million. That's just 3 times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we came, we talked about all the partners, and we talked to the directors, and they go like, "No, we're on the run. This is it." You know. Oh yes. So the figure was 18. I still remember 18. It was 18 million US. He wanted to buy out a company. And overconfident came in because we're like, you know, we did this, you know, I think we could do it ourselves. And we said we could easily make 81 million. So confident. They were like, yes. And during such time, we were actually doing a lot of overseas business. So we actually went to China, went to Dubai, went to Africa, went to Singapore even. The first country that took up this idea and said, okay, let's build, I think it was 50,000 homes a year. So the shortage of homes in Nigeria, specifically Africa.
Yeah.
And so we actually had a 1.5 year groundbreaking. We actually pitched to the government. We actually did the whole presentation, and they said they loved it. We could do it. So it was actually a miniature, not miniature, a mini Putrajaya.
Yeah.
So our Putrajaya over here, it was a copy and literary paste, but then we changed we called the theme, the feel.
Yeah.
But so that was basically it. So that project was about 600 million US. 600 million US. 2 years later, it didn't go the way we wanted to. So I think we achieved a certain level of success, but I think what goes up must come down.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, if you say in that moment, yeah, that was one of the highlights.
And what are some of the lessons that you have learned from that as well?
Oh wow, too many. So yeah, I think I go back. We have to be more aware of the people you work with.
Again, it comes down to people.
Yeah, I think this.
Yeah.
Even in AI, it takes humans to
Yeah.
teach AI, right?
Yeah.
So you get the wrong person teaching AI, it's almost like a Terminator movie go wrong.
Yes.
Literally, right?
Yes.
So it's who are the people that you work with, and always start wherever you are, whoever you're with, and you know, start with people. I spend a lot of time investing in all the people and find out what are the best ways to connect with them, to build them, to actually grow, inspire, and hopefully platforms like yours can help people like us.
Okay. Yeah. So you started business, you go into different industries, right, throughout the years. And a lot of people, like, whenever they want to go into one industry, they take time to study the industry, maybe for 1 year, 2 years before really going into that industry. So how do you manage to widen all your knowledge and go into so many different industries at such a short period of time?
Actually, honestly, on retrospect, on hindsight, it looks easy. But as was moving forward, literally it was who you partnered at that time, right? So people always came to me because they lack a certain skill set, tool set, other connections, or maybe some investments, and I came in from that angle. So I mentored them, I advised them, I actually helped them grow their business, fix it. So they used to give me a nickname. They call it business MacGyver of sorts. You know, like whatever you have, give to me, and then be like, okay, you know, literally like that case. But I realized that moving forward, most people who start companies don't have a proper
system.
No, it's an entire, we call it like a framework or a blueprint.
Okay, yeah.
Right? They have a little goal, and on one side, another one wants world domination on the other side. Right? And unfortunately, most people do not know how to execute.
Yeah.
Right? There's always a saying that I say that, would you choose for a first class idea, second class execution, or a second class idea, first class execution? That means whoever executes the best actually wins.
Yeah.
So regardless of idea, if you think about it right now, almost every business out there has a multi-million dollar opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The fella, there's one gentleman I remember, he ran away from Malaysia. I think he did something wrong. He ran away from Malaysia. He's in China, and all he had was prawn cracker, a bag of prawn cracker, right?
Okay.
Now he is China's I'm not a billionaire, but he's multi-millionaire by selling crackers. You know, and I think every business has the potential.
Yeah.
But if you only plan the milestones, so most people don't plan.
Yeah.
It's a saying, you know, you plan to fail or you fail to plan. But literally, if you don't plan it well, and that's what happens to the entire business.
Yeah. Wow, I think that is really powerful. And I believe all of you have learned so much from this session today, right? So before we end, I just got one last question for you. To all the entrepreneurs or business owners out there who wants to grow their business to the next level, what is the one advice that you can provide for all of them?
It's unfair.
Okay, so
No.
yeah.
I mean, it's a short period of time, but
Yeah.
okay. So, if I may, find the right types of masters, or find the right type of mentor, or even a coach or a consultant that actually truly wants to give you that one. So a lot of people I ask when they give advice, I ask the question is, have you been there?
Yeah.
Question one, they go like no. Then next, have you done that? And it says no. Next, and have you done some sort? Do you know someone? And if none of the questions are yes, find someone else, because everybody can Google, everybody can read and regurgitate all the internet and books and sound really professional. But if they don't answer the been there, done that, still doing it, for me, I would take it, like a pinch of salt.
Okay. So I think for those of you who wanted to start 80 businesses, there's someone who has been there. There's someone who has already done that and still doing that. So if you want, you can actually find him to mentor you. So I believe that we all have gained so much from this session, and I really thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Because I know your time is valuable, but what you have shared with me here is really amazing. And I think it helped me alone in my business, and also I believe helped a lot of our audience as well. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and till we meet the next time. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to get first-hand video on how you can build ultimate confidence and get cutting-edge strategies to help you achieve your next breakthrough in life. Thank you so much.